So we've hit a new level of insanity, which I try to avoid. Getting into social or political things or news, pop culture, but this one hit, I guess, close to home for reasons which I'm going to have to kind of expand on, which is now the Boy Scouts are allowing girls in, which is one of those situations where I don't think anybody can form a remotely cohesive argument of why this is not just a net negative for everybody. I'm going to start out with counterpointing some of the things that people have told me, and I think that I understand why people have fallen for these ideas or concepts, and I think I'm going to go through them and run them out and shoot them down the way that I did, both in my brain and talking to people about this. Girl Scouts do all the crafting, blah 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 blah. I was a Girl Scout, and that's all we did. Okay, that's fine. That's if you want to go camping, then why don't you talk to? If you think that obviously the kids aren't the ones upset about this, otherwise they would have plummeting numbers. Kids wouldn't want to show up anymore. Kids would refuse to go. And now with how very child-centric we are, which is kind of a mixed blessing, we would there'd be no Girl Scouts anymore if they really wanted to do this en masse. And if you, as the parents, and everybody thought that that was really the things that we should be teaching in Girl Scouts, or what's I think it's Brownies, there's the littler one, then they would change the curriculum. It's old school, and here's the thing: obviously there's crossovers. There's going to be little boys who want to make the dream catchers or God's eyes. Remember those things you did have to do in art class where you wrap the yarn around that. And obviously there's going to be little girls who want to go camping. That's great. I think it's wonderful. So here's the thing: I grew up rather not very well off or anything like that, and I did a lot of camping when I was poor in undergrad. I still do a lot of camping. So here's the thing: if you can afford to join these groups or anything like that, and you think that these traditionalized roles or their curriculum sucks, whatever your point of view is, either or, so go start your own. Take you, all your friends, and go camping with the kids. Do it. Like, there you go. You don't have to be Tom Brown Jr. to take out a bunch of 6-year-olds in the woods. Hell, even hire somebody. As I said, I get every parent to chip in $20. Hire some college kid for the day. I'm getting visited by my cat here. Some environmental studies person. People would do that for free for hours for their near, like for an Eagle Scout project. Or the Girls Scouts do something like that. But it's just one of those things, like, it's not going to get anybody anything happier or better, and now you have to put up with stupidity, because, the question is why is it now the Boy Scouts if girls are in it? Like, and why, how long are we going to have lawsuits for the Girl Scouts having to have boys or not being able to? Their names are quite simple about what their membership is. I don't think it's a victimhood or a sin. It's just not something for each other. There's cases in this world that they're not a winner loser. It's a set of circumstances. It's just the way of the world. If you don't like that, well, TS, we'll say that much. Like, there's obviously unjust things. There's bigotry. There's favoritism. There's things that we'd like to work on. But some of these things we're picking are just the dumbest fights you can have. But I think we've given way too much power to victimhood, and I really haven't heard a fair argument of what we're going to get out of this system if we have these systems that have been around for quite literally 100 years to segregate the genders. If you really don't think that's a good thing, that's fine. That's awesome. As I said, where's your initiative? It's changing somebody else's program. It's not your initiative. As I said, if you want to do a co-op one, do it. If you really think that, like, this is going to benefit the world, get a government grant. Start asking around. Get it on Kickstarter. Where's your Patreon? Your GoFundMe? I don't see it. It's not there. So you attacked something else instead of jumping into it. You don't see me saying, Superman's okay, but we're going to throw him out. Clark Kent, we're going to put Matter Max in. And if not, I'm going to go firebomb the Marvel... no, he's DC, isn't he? Building. Because I'm a victim here, because I should be Superman. And obviously, you don't see firebombing, but you do see protests and stuff like that. You just said if these people were actually invested in things like that, which is the reason why this one really burns me is absolutely using your child so you can go push something that you want or don't, with complete disregard to your children. They're being used as a tool so you can complain about something that really you're not going to do anything except for complain about and make things worse for children. It's one thing to say, like, okay, we're going to sit there and gripe about this movie, that movie. And I think anything now gets so politicized and talked about that you see it every time. It's, there's not enough, this in this film, so people protest it, boycott it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, it's like, okay, so guess what? You didn't get to see the new Star Wars because you didn't think there was enough Chinese people in it. Okay, that's fine. That's not going to ruin the world. And you're saying, we need to do this, and we're going to screw over a whole bunch of children. That's the problem. And I guess I really haven't expanded because I feel like you don't need to explain the merits of having something like the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. They're charities that work to help, to grow children, to learn about the outdoors, to learn teamwork, to learn responsibility, to learn community. They've been around for 100 years. I feel almost embarrassed that I have to explain this to people. As I said, neither organization is perfect. Nothing's perfect. But the people that seem to be supportive of this can't find a single reason of how this actually benefits anyone, except for it sounds nice to have a program that we're screwing over to make a program that they like more. As I said, we have a program for it. It's called the Girl Scouts. And, as I said, I don't see anybody on this side taking the initiative to either build their own program, which, if anybody actually cares, it's not just a couple screaming harpies. I would also make a strange bet that these are some single moms. Let's not bring that word up, but love those statistics. But we're pushing this one. I don't know. As I said, like, we've seen the people that get involved with this, and it's just disgusting because, like, there's a limit. I might say I'm not going to go watch a movie, like I used that reference before, but straight up child abuse. And it's lazy because if you actually gave a shit about your kids, you'd build your own group. It's not hard. It's not expensive. You take the locals out. You'd push for this. And if anybody else cared, you'd find a lot of money for it. Be tons of money. Look how much money Cancer Society brings in. Look how much money Girl Scout cookies bring in. Do 1/10 of that, 100th of that even. You got enough money to get this off. Or let's say you really care that much. You might even open your own wallet to fund it. Oh my goodness. The 501c paperwork is less than $200. Not that I have a brokerage license for businesses and kind of know this stuff. So let me tell you, if you can have a lower middle class kid, you don't have a spare $200, you've done something really well. Really, really poorly. You're doing it pretty badly. How are you going to buy them their next t-shirts and things like that, like actual costs of children rearing? Unless you're kind of on my tax dollars, which, there we go, that's a whole other debate. But I just don't see anything positive from this. I really, as I said, I've tried to keep an open mind for a lot of these changes and things like that. And every time you see it, there's actually nothing good from it. And this is just another case. No, I can't say I am a upset scout former. Did do my childhood LARPing as JCap, so I gotta autistically talk about airplanes while pretending I was in the Special Forces. I know how cool that is. I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of people asking, probably supermodels, asking to mail me some panties after hearing that. Ugh. Yeah, no, this is just one of those things that it's just like, I feel really bad because it's like, oh, that would be a great place to put my kids, nope, we're going to have this come here. And it's just an invasion. As I said, it has nothing to do with, I'm not against the idea of very young co-ed programs at all. Obviously, kindergartens are co-ed. Scouts can stay until they're mid-teens, obviously, so we're talking. But it's just that these were segregated for a reason. And if you cared about the programs, you could change them. If anybody cared, it would change. It's one of those things I really have been having a hard time finding sort of bright side to this. It's just it was a time for these groups to do their things and enjoy and learn, and kids enjoy it. It's just screw kids. Let's push some narrative that there's like one girl out there who wants to swing a hatchet. So instead of catering to this outlier, we're gonna fuck everybody up and ruin it. And as I said, like, it's the hard part is we know how this happens, and it's not a slander towards either sex or group or towards having a co-ed. As I said, I think there should be a third party that does co-ed. But the problem is once this stuff starts, we see changings in standards, we see changings in protections and rulings and how things are done, and they're all to cater to the new class who is obviously going to be a minority, and the way we look at these things is they are a victim or they are oppressed, where really they should be pretty effing thankful that they got to get in anyway. They kind of get a head start, we'll say. They have a little bit of a... But, I don't know. I've been rambling about this for like 11 minutes. My cat's really being a brat, so I'm just going to end this right now. And if you have a cognitive argument about how this is a good thing without that I haven't got into, I'm actually welcome to hear it, because I would like a little faith in humanity.